Hey, good morning. Welcome to our daily WBDC 7:30 sports preview. Each and every day during the week, we preview what we'll have on at 7:30 on WBDC 100.9 FM, WBDC.us, as well as WBDC in your TuneIn app. You'll be able to find us. Our Facebook Facebook preview this morning with the College World Series starting on Saturday out in Omaha. The preview this morning brought to you by the 1986 Indiana State Sycamores and Boy Rodriguez, Jeff Buell, Paul Quinzer, Bob Warren, when the Sycamores wore the hat with the spear back in '86. They're talking about redoing the logo at Indiana State for baseball, maybe some other sports. Please go back to the spear. You don't have to make the hats a top hat like Abe Lincoln, like this old school hat. But please, just please, bring back the ISU logo with the spear. Love 1986. Boy Rodriguez, third baseman, hitter. Jeff Buell out of Northview, hitter. Paul Quinzer, Castle, current baseball coach at Mount Vernon, threw gas. Great game, great team. So anyway, thought that was interesting today with the World Series field being set for Omaha on Saturday. But the baseball around here that we're going to talk about this morning on the WBDC 730 Sports, of course, the South Ridge Raiders going off to the state finals in 2A at Victory Field in Indianapolis as a result of their 7-2 victory over Cecina on Saturday at Rookser Field. What a crowd out there. It went from behind home plate at Rookser, if you're familiar with that yard, all the way down underneath that big shade tree down the right field line, and it was an unbelievable sight. And the Raiders play well. They get a 7-2 victory over Cecina. Tied early. Cecina actually took a 2-0 lead until the Raiders got one back in the bottom of the third. Then in the fourth, a 5-run inning. Several guys had RBIs. Tucker Shank had a 3-hit game. Colson Montgomery, a 2-hit game. And Logan Sager, once again, fabulous on the mound. He pushes his mark to 11-0 on the season. A complete game 5-hitter for the Raiders, sending them off to Victory Field. They will play Boone Grove up near Valparaiso. Boone Grove, a very good team. They beat Lafayette Central Catholic 1-0 on Saturday. And if you know anything about LCC, whether it be in 1A, they moved up with the success factor. They are really, really good, and Boone Grove knocked them off. We'll find more out about Boone Grove. Obviously, they probably got a guy on the mound, and that's something. So does Southridge. So that'll be good. What do you think about this, RP? Bring it back, right? 86 Sycamores, Boy Rodriguez, Jeff Buell and the boys. Yeah. But anyway, the Raiders, again, it's going to be great. If you've not been to Victory Field and you're a fan, get there. And the guys are going to love it. The players, it's something else. I mean, we're blessed in this state. If you're a high school player and you make it to the finals, you play in unbelievable venues. There's no other state where you play in venues like the RCA Dome. That's old school. Lucas Oil Stadium. If you're a basketball player, you play at Bankers Life. If you're a softball player like this past weekend up at Purdue, at that brand new stadium that they got. Track and field, swimming. The best places in the world are here in Indiana, and high school kids get to play. And my favorite out of all of them is Victory Field. The way they take care of that place, the way that's set up with the Indianapolis Indians, they embrace it, along with the Indiana High School Athletic Association. And that place is just a mecca for high school baseball teams and players. And the Raiders and Boone Grove and the rest of those teams are going to love it on Saturday. It's a 2 o'clock first pitch. Of course, all the action, like all the other tournament games, right over on WBDC 100.9 FM. We heard from people from vacationing in Maui on our TuneIn app, WBDC.us, California, Florida. So it was quite a day Saturday when the Raiders played Cecina, and it'll be the same when they play Boone Grove Saturday at 2. up at Victory Field. So get on up to Victory Field. I'm sure they'll have ticket information. If you can't, we'll have the game for you on WBDC. Bombers last night, they're having a week-long road trip. They go and win at Henderson last night. They beat the Flash 7-5. They're going to Hoptown tomorrow in Hopkinsville, play the Hoppers. They'll return home on Friday. I think they have a Friday-Saturday set out at Huntingburg League Stadium. Tell City, we'll talk about their new head football coach. They've run through a few coaches down there in the last couple of years. Aaron Clements, he's been an assistant at North Central of Farmersburg up near Terre Haute as you pass that school on the left on Highway 41. But they've had some good success. They've turned a bad program into a good program, and they went to the semi-state last year before falling to Eastern Green, or late in the tournament before falling to Eastern Green, but they're getting a new coach, and Aaron Clements are the marksman, so hopefully he can get that program back on solid ground. Tell City, one of the tradition-rich programs down through the years, but not so much lately. Big League Baseball, we'll have a complete rundown of that from yesterday. Pirates avoid a sweep in Chicago against the Cubs. They beat Chicago yesterday 7-1. Cubs start a series in Milwaukee tonight at Miller Park. Reds snap a 13-game losing streak to the Cardinals. They win yesterday 6-3. Billy Hamilton can't hit his way out of a wet paper bag. I don't know why he'd be in a wet paper bag, but he can't. But he can play center field, and he made great catches yesterday for the Redlegs and helped them win yesterday at GABP. Golf yesterday, all the boys tuned up for this week's U.S. Open at the St. Jude down at TPC Southwind in Memphis, St. Jude Classic, and Dustin Johnson, one of the top players in the world. Guy's got all kinds of talent. He won that tournament by 6 shots this weekend, including, and he's very well in front of the field, and he dunks one yesterday from 170 yards on the 18th hole. That's a great way to end, especially when you're going to win anyway. And he jarred it for eagle. Just 170, just flipped it up there, bounced in, picked it out of the hole, and got his trophy and all that cash for winning that tournament. But now it's on to the U.S. Open, and that should be quite the week at Shinnecock Hill, Southampton, New York. All the top players in the world, of course, will be there, and you never know what you're going to get out of a U.S. Open course. They grow the rough, they speed up the greens because the USGA has to let everybody know that they're in charge, and they can't stand when the greatest players in the world eat up one of those courses with a big under par total. So they'll keep it down. They love to see the carnage, which is crap. I mean, these guys are the best in the world, and what's the matter with them shooting good scores? But the USGA doesn't like it. So it's always good TV, I'll tell you that, when those guys get to play on a course like that, and you never know what's going to happen with the score relative to par. But again, Dustin Johnson, he'll be one of the favorites. All the usual suspects, Justin Thomas, Spieth, Fowler, all those guys. Tiger Woods, he's back in his first major in a little bit, so that'll be fun starting Thursday. A couple local guys in the field. Tyler Duncan out of Purdue, and of course he's married to Maria Kremp from Jasper, and he's doing quite well in his rookie year on the tour. He'll be in the field. He qualified for the U.S. Open. That's cool. Also Dylan Meyer, the All-American out of Evansville Central, and the University of Illinois, his first pro event as far as not being an amateur. So he can win, or not win, but it would be great if he'd won. But if he places well, he'll get to keep that money. He played in a couple of other pro tournaments as an amateur, didn't get to keep the money. So good luck to Tyler Duncan and Dylan Meyer at the U.S. Open. Clint Boyer won the NASCAR race yesterday. Rain shortened at Brooklyn, Michigan, up in the Irish Hills yesterday. Just 133 laps before they shut that mess down, and Boyer able to be in front and win that race in NASCAR. So, again, as we always say, a lot going on. We'll have it all for you. Bottom of the hour, 7:30, over on WBDC, 100.9 FM, WBDC.US. Especially hit Southridge baseball really hard. We'll hear from head coach Gene Mattingly. about the victory on Saturday and start to preview the game with Boone Grove up at Victory Field on Saturday. So thanks for joining us on our Facebook Live hit this morning, brought to you by the 1986 World Series participants, the Indiana State University Sycamores. We'll talk to you at 7:30 over on WBDC.